Technopark Toastmasters chapter meeting number 23. I am Aswin and I will be the Sergeant at Arms for the day. Toastmaster International is a non-profitable organization started by Ralph C. Smetley to promote public speaking. Before getting into the details, I would like to quote the mission of a Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which all the members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, result in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Before getting into the meeting, there are some ground rules which needs to be followed during the entire course of the meeting. Number one, please refrain from making any reference to politics, sex, or religion in your speech, which may hurt other sentiments. Number two, please turn off all the noise-making devices like mobile phones or put them in silent mode. Number three, please avoid crosstalk when someone is speaking. And last but not the least, considering this virtual setup, please ensure that you mute yourself if you are not speaking. I request all the guests to put their names in the meeting chat so that we'll get a track of it. Once again, I welcome all of you to the Toastmasters chapter meeting, handing over to Toastmaster Prakash.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aswin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this meeting. It is my pleasure to be the Toastmaster of the day for this meeting. Today's theme is Lucid and the word of the day is kiss. Sorry. The word of the day is kiss and theme is, okay. The theme is kiss and the word of the day is lucid. Lucid confusions. Okay. We humans have the inherent tendency to make everything complicated. Whether it is a speech or a problem or a solution or a statement or a design or a creation, we make everything complicated. Well, at least I do. Let me tell you a story of mine. A couple of months back, when he took up the role of TMOD for the first time, I jotted down all the points, then started connecting the dots, stitching together everything with the concepts such as psychology, philosophy, biases, human perception, whatnot. Finally, I ended up with a speech of 2000 words. Clearly, it could not be delivered in 5 minutes. Now I was left with a problem higher than what I initially started. The problem of shortening the speech. The process of elimination was really hard and required a lot of thinking. And finally, somehow I managed to shorten the speech to just 500 words. This meant restructuring paragraphs to sentences, sentences to words. But anyway, even at 500 words, the speech was really heavy. After the meeting, when I received the feedback, I realized that I touched upon a lot of topics, various topics that added complexity to that speech. But anyway, if you look at closely, this is not a problem specific to speeches. Things tend to get complicated unless we carefully act on it. And this is in fact not a problem that you or me alone face. You could observe it everywhere. Even US Navy had this problem. So they came up with KISS principle. KISS. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, soldier. Trust me, I did not make this up just because I told you a story of mine. This is one of the variations of KISS. Maybe I picked this up intentionally. But anyway, what is KISS? Simplicity should be the ultimate goal. That's what KISS is all about. But how do you achieve simplicity? In a nutshell, it's a process of elimination rather than accumulation. Saying no to what is not required, what is not necessary. Once you reach a stage where nothing is left to be removed, you reach simplicity. But it's really hard. It requires a lot of thinking and energy and effort. This is what Steve Jobs said. Simple can be harder than complex. Simple can be harder than complex. And you need to work hard to get your thinking clean to make something simple. But it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. With this thought, let us move on to our meeting. Every Toastmaster meeting is divided into 3 segments. First, prepared speeches, where members prepare a speech in advance and deliver the same. Second, table topics. Everyone, including the guests, would participate and deliver an impromptu speech. And finally, evaluation, where we all learn how to improve ourselves. Let me now invite the general evaluator to explain the evaluation process and introduce the team supporting her. The general evaluator for today is DTM Sreeja, a public speaking enthusiast and a seasoned Toastmaster. Over to you, DTM Sreeja.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Prakash. What a beautiful opening. Keep it simple, soldiers. It's something which is really difficult to do. In fact, the task that is assigned to me is also a very difficult task, which is to make sure that I note down anything and everything that happens in this meeting and give you a report by the end of it. Now, that's not a simple task. And to help me do this task properly, I have got my own army, which is called as the tag team. Today, we're going to get introduced to them in the reverse order so that my grammarian can tell you the word of the day, which my R counter and timer can also use. I'm going to introduce you to the grammarian of today's session. She's someone who is presently working as an instructional designer at Finestra and loves arts and crafts, sketching, traveling, and modeling. So I welcome Toastmaster Anila onto the stage. Please explain your roles and responsibilities.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian of the day, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening to them carefully to their language usage. And I'll be making notes of any improper language usage, if there is any, as well as if there is any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. I'll be noting that down as well. And as a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So for today's meeting, the word is lucid, which was already said by our TMOD, but I'll explain it in detail. This is an adjective which means clear and easy to understand. So let's look at a few examples on the usage of this word. So one would be, she gave a clear and lucid account on her plans for the company's future. Second one would be, this account contains a very lucid explanation of the issues. The third one, the material is clearly presented and written in a lucid and eloquent manner. Now, each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day in your speeches, and all the listeners are requested to encourage the speaker by giving them a virtual applause when the speaker uses the word of the day. I'll be giving a grammarian's report when called upon by the evaluator again during the evaluation session of this meeting. And also, I'll be reporting on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, and all the best speakers. Back to you, Toastmaster Sreeja.
Thank you very much, Madam Grammarian. What a lucid explanation so that we can use it. I suggest you please copy and paste the word along with the usages in the chat so that people can refer to it in between. Let's move on to the next role player who is very, very important, is the R counter of the day, someone who is going to help us improve our language by listening very intently to us. So she is someone who started her career with being a Java professional, all right? But because of her passion towards HR, she later moved into the HR stream, and presently she is the HR manager at Performix Solutions. She was recently awarded with the Queenie Quizzer Award that happened in the All Kerala Women's event, which was conducted by the National Institute of Personal Management. So many feathers in her hat. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Toastmaster Manisha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sreeja, and good morning to all Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words or phrases, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also be listening to the filler sounds, including and At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Over to you, Toastmaster Sreeja.
Thank you very much, Madam Our Counter of the Day. And now let's move on to a person who is going to make sure that we are on track always. And that is the timer of the day. Now, a special thing that I want to mention about the timer of our day, Toastmaster Aswin, that he was recently honored by the Kerala Police Cyberdrome as a part of Hackpy, which is an international hackathon conducted on the theme of demystifying dark web. So, Toastmaster Aswin, we already know what we would like to listen from you the next time. We would also love to increase our knowledge on that area and make sure that we have a very lucid understanding about dark web. Over to you right now. Please go ahead and explain your roles and responsibilities.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sreeja. So I'll be the timer for the day. I'll be noting down all the timings. Today we have like 2 prepared speech. So the timing for the prepared speech is 4 to 6 minutes. At the end of 4th minute, you will see something like this, a green background. At the end of 5th minute, you will see yellow background. And at the end of 6th minute, you will see red background. After that, you should wind up the speech in 30 seconds. For the speech evaluation, we have 3 minutes. So at the end of 2 minutes, I'll be showing green. At the end of 2.5, I'll be showing yellow. At the end of 3 minutes, I'll be showing red. After that, the evaluator should wind up his evaluation in 30 seconds. For the timer report, it is 2 minutes. At the end of 1 minute, I'll be showing green. At the end of 1.5, I'll be showing yellow. At the end of 2 minutes, I'll be showing red. For the arc counter also, it is 2 minutes. At the end of 1 minute, green, 1.5 yellow, and at the end of 2 minutes, it's red. For the grammarian, it is 3 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, I'll be showing green. At the end of 2.5 yellow, and at the end of 3rd minute, I'll be showing red. For the general evaluator, it is 5 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, I'll be showing green. At the end of at the end of 3 minutes, I'll be showing green. At the end of 4 minutes, I'll be showing yellow. And at the end of 5th minute, I'll be showing the red card. I'll be giving you a lucid report at the end of today's meeting. Handing over back to Toastmaster Sreeja. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the explanation of the timer's responsibility. I hope my team here has done a wonderful job in lucidly explaining all their roles and responsibility. We will be back once the Toastmaster of the Day calls us back to give us our report. With that note, I hand over the control to the Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Prakash. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Sreeja and the entire tag team for that introduction. Now, let us move on to our first segment, prepared speeches. We have got 2 speakers today. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Manu, attempting his 2nd speech in level 1 pathway strategic relationship. The evaluator for the speech is TM Arathi, who is a general manager at Suntech and a seasoned Toastmaster. I request TM Arathi to share the objectives of the speech. Over to you, TM Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Prakash. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be the evaluator for our speaker, Manu. Manu is attempting his 2nd speech in the Pathways Strategic Relationships, and his speech is titled Saying No. The timing for his speech is 5 to 7 minutes. So through this speech, the speaker is trying to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a 2nd speech. So he will have to repeat the same speech or a similar speech, incorporating the feedback that the evaluator gives him. He can do the speech in the same club using the same evaluator, or in a different club for a different evaluator. During the speech, he will be delivering a well-organized speech as is expected of any Toastmasters project speech. And the focus would be on his speaking style. The topic is not important. It can be anything of choice in a humorous, informational, or any style that the member chooses.
With that, I wish the speaker all the best and I return the control back to the TMOD. Back to you.
Thank you, TM Arathi. A note to timer, the speaking time is actually 5 to 7 minutes. The speaker today is Toastmaster Manu, a father to a 3-year-old daughter. Speaker, Toastmaster Manu, saying no. Toastmaster Manu, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash Vin. So thank you for this opportunity to provide my second speech. This is part of the Pathway Strategic Relationship. Saying no is my topic. Now, no is a very simple, short word, but sometimes it's very challenging to use that particular word in many scenarios. Let me start with an experience that I had a year back. This is around when COVID struck, and there were a lot of changes that were happening from an organization perspective. And around that time, as you all know, we all started work from home. But in our company, we also did a major change around that time we had to do. And we changed our CRM from an old CRM, which was like probably a decade old. And then we had to move into a new CRM. But that was touted to be like, it would save a lot of time for our customers, for our internal resources. But frankly, it didn't really go very well. There were a lot of issues that came in once the CRM came in. It was a new interface for everybody. There was a little catching up that everybody had to do. But it also added a lot of workload. It added a lot of stress to the people. And it came at a stage where it was not just the employees who were stressed out, even the managers and people leaders were becoming stressed out because of this new tool that came up. Now, at that time, when this was all going on, there was another request that came in that we need to get something more done from the CRM, that people should do more from the CRM. And during that conversation, I just said no. I mean, that's something that doesn't come out of me. I'm normally a yes person. Normally, in how I do things is I take things, I say yes, I take things, and then I figure out how to get that thing done. But I don't know what happened that day. I just said no, we cannot do it, and that was it. Now, when I look back that day, why I said no, that still remains, because I didn't really plan out for it. But that actually was good, because that meant that I didn't allow my team to be again overloaded with more stuff. I didn't allow the team to be more stressed out, more dissatisfied, and probably more attrition as well in the end, right? That's what happens when everything builds up. So in that way, I was happy that I could say no. And that was necessary at that time. But when I look back, and the person who asked me that particular ask, he was my director, and I never say no to that person. That's the relationship that I have with that person, and it's probably more than a decade old relationship as well. And when I look back, I feel I could have said that no in a better way, right? My tone was not good. Probably I was myself frustrated and dissatisfied. So the way the no came out was not really in a good way. So that's one learning that I took from that experience. First thing is, you have to say or learn to say no. And that was probably the first time I said no to somebody. But when you say no, you have to say it in a good way, so that you feel good yourself, and also the other person feels the same way. It's a bit hard, because when you look at the word no, it is a very negative word. Now, I have a 3-year-old daughter. She likes chocolate a lot. A lot means she doesn't have any tooth right now. At least the front 4 or 5 tooth, it's gone. But she likes chocolate. Anytime I go out, the first thing that she asks is, buy me a Kinder Joy. or when we go out, right? The first thing, I mean, the emotions come out. You don't have any tooth, and you still want some chocolate. So the word no is negative. So it is okay. I mean, it is a thing that your emotions will come out, and that no might be taken in a different context as well. So that's the second thing that we'll have to look at. Make sure that when you say no, put it in a polite, in a way that the tone doesn't go up, the pitch doesn't go up, right? And also, if possible, give some reasoning, a lucid reasoning as well, right? For example, if you are an individual contributor and you have probably like 5 or 10 projects assigned to you, and your manager comes and says, okay, do this more, right? Do these 2 projects too. You can say politely, no, I cannot do this because I have timelines for these projects, current projects. I'm hoping that a couple of projects will finish probably next week, and I can take this up at that time. So that's in a way which is respectful, and in a way we are saying no as well. So I'll end this speech with a note that we should start saying no. It is good for ourselves as well as the team or the people who are with you, and at the same time say it in a polite way as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manu. That was such a beautiful topic. In fact, there are 2 things that I can relate to the CRM application. I always thought is only the companies that I work have this problem. But anyway, we all have this problem. And the second is Joy, the story of Joy. Yeah, I can so relate to it. I have a 3-year-old daughter as well. Okay. Our second speaker today is Toastmaster Jayakrishnan, attempting his icebreaker speech, level 1 in Pathways Dynamic Leadership. The evaluator for the speech is Toastmaster Aravind. Sorry, I just looked at the message. Toastmaster Aravind is a people person and who is a sports lover. I request Toastmaster Aravind to share the objectives of the speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Aravind. The Toastmaster Aravind.
No, we can't hear you, Aravind. Will you please try like taking off the headset and speak?
Still
No.
no.
Near to that mute, unmute, there will be a tilde symbol, right? So please check the microphone is selected, the right one.
Now it's mute.
Hello.
He might be trying to rejoin.
We will give him a
We can
minute.
wait for the.
We'll give him a minute to reconnect, and if he does not join, I will reroute the objectives.
Okay, fine.
Please join back. But his audio is not showing.
He has just joined back, but yes,
I'm so sorry. Toastmaster Prakash, are you able to hear me now?
Yep, now you are audible.
Yeah, better.
This was some unanticipated challenges. So Toastmaster Jay is going to deliver his icebreaker speech as part of his Toastmaster journey. Icebreaker speech is the first speech which every Toastmaster delivers to the club, and the core purpose of the speech is to introduce himself to the club and also to practice delivering speech with the basic structure of public speaking. The time which Jay would have for his speech is around 4 to 6 minutes. And as Toastmaster Prakash have said, he is doing this as part of his pathways which he have chosen on dynamic leadership. And Jay will be delivering all of us his icebreaker speech on the topic, story of a wallflower. I'm sure Jay will be able to deliver a very beautiful and lucid presentation to all of us. Over to Toastmaster Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aravind. The speaker today is Toastmaster Jayakrishnan, who is a cyclist and loves to play cricket. Toastmaster Jayakrishnan, story of a wallflower. Story of a wallflower. Toastmaster Jayakrishnan, over to you. Hello, Toastmaster Jayakrishnan.
Jayakrishnan, we can't hear you.
Who is it?
Hello, Jayakrishnan, we are not able to hear you. We can see you now.
We can't hear you.
We can hear you.
And
Prakash?
now it's clear.
Hello?
Inaudible, Jay.
I'm hearing you. Hello?
Yeah, Jay, we could hear you.
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, yeah. Yes, Jayakrishnan, we can hear you. Yeah.
I think he's not able to hear us.
Thank you, Prakash, for your warm welcome. Good afternoon, my dear fellow Toastmasters. I was deeply thinking about the topic to share with you all on my first icebreaker speech. And finally, I decided to talk about myself. I'm Jayakrishnan C. I'm having only very few friends. Most of them calls me JK or J. I'm an HR professional and currently working with investment. I would like to tell you a quote here. Dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Let me tell you in the beginning itself. I'm very bad in narrating stories. In my own way of improvement, I strongly believe this session will personally help me a lot. Let me take you all to a story which I'm hearing past 31 years. My close family still remember this incident and have that jolt feeling within them. This happened just few months before I born. My mother was pregnant for 6 or 7 months. We settled in a place called Angamali. It's in Ernakulam district. For some reason, my mother wanted to travel back to her native Kollam. So she took siblings along with her. And of course, was safe on her home. They planned to travel on Island Express, but all were set for the train journey. All of a sudden, my mom changed her decision and traveled by a cab. Maybe that was a lifesaver decision. After reaching home, my family came to know about the train tragedy happened. That to the same train we were about to travel. I'm sure all of you heard about Periman train tragedy. More than 100 were killed. We just escaped from the scene. I brought up with a mixed feeling. Being the third child, I was going through so many comparisons with my siblings. One among that was my studies. I was not at all studious or teacher's favorite. Every year, my teacher had a lot of expectations on me since my siblings were on the same school. But all those expectations got hurt. After my 10th board exam, all of them were disappointed, and I expected the same. It's not only because I didn't study well or written exam. I strongly believe handwriting also took some marks away from me, and still the same. During the same time, my sister got married, and we all decided to move to Bangalore. And I continued my studies there. I was quite nervous and excited to visit a city like Bangalore. I completed my graduation, and later I did my PG in HRM from Japan. I've gone through so many comparisons inside and outside family. But hearing all this, I believe that I cannot be successful or lead a happy life or make my parents proud. But I never fed up. My close family members, especially my parents, always had trust on me. I saw a light of hope inside me. Also, I had a lucid plan about my career. I worked harder and harder to get a job. Finally, I got into a small HR firm. I started liking my job a lot. I realized that I can grow in this domain. And literally, I fell in love with my job. Even though it was quite tough for an introvert person like me to meet their expectation and target. My life started showing smiling face at me for all the hard work I did. Soon, I got into an MNC company, then I tried my life. I still remember those days where I haven't had enough food, but trying hard to achieve and learn things. I'm happy what I am right now, personally and professionally. And yes, my urge to learn still continues. In short, I would tell you all that hard work always pays off. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jayakrishnan, for that nice story. As a custom of Toastmasters, we would be giving a standing ovation, and today we will be. Let us all give us a big round of applause to Toastmaster Jayakrishnan for his speech, icebreaker speech. And truly, you are lucky. Before you were born, you are really lucky. And all the best.
Thank you.
And with that, we are moving to the next segment of our meeting, table topics. This is where you all get an opportunity to give an impromptu speech. Today we have got Toastmaster Indu as topics master. She has been working with Sunlight for the past 10 years, and she loves to do yoga. Over to you, Toastmaster Indu.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Prakash. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Okay, as introduced, I am Indu, your table topics master of the day. It's a great privilege for me to be your table topics master. And it gives opportunity for the participants as well to give or to organize your thoughts, form your ideas, and deliver a quick speech. Okay. And I encourage all the guests also to be part of this activity, part of this session. And I feel that in aligning with the theme of the day, keep it simple, I made my presentation simple, topic simple, right? And what I feel is that I made my presentation lucid as well. You can comment on it after the presentation, after the table topics activity. Yes, I'm switching off my video and switching to screen sharing mode. And another part is that we have Toastmaster Aswin to help you us on keeping us track with the time. After this table topics, the speech is for 1 to 2 minutes. After 1 minute timer, Aswin, Toastmaster Aswin will give us a green card. And after 1.5 minutes, he will show us a yellow card. And after 2 minutes, he will show us a red card. You can wind up the speech after 2 minutes, 30 seconds. These are the guidelines or general rules for the speech. Let me switch off my video and switch on or sharing my screen. Start sharing my screen. Just let me know when the screen is visible to all of you.
It's not up yet. Yep. Now I see it.
Okay. Has it come?
Yep, I see it, Indu.
Yes.
What about others? Okay. I think we can go to the next presentation. Yes, next slide. Choose any color. I encourage all team members to choose any one color. Any volunteers?
Someone who does not have a role today, maybe Deepti?
Yeah, I can take it. Let me go with blue. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving me the photo of such an important person. So who is this important person, Indu? Would you like to name that person?
Yes, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
Yes, exactly. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Thank you so much for giving me this amazing personality to discuss about. So everybody knows about Netaji. We call him with love as Netaji. And he was this fierce freedom fighter who fought strongly for our country, but unfortunately couldn't be part of our free India because of his death. So definitely freedom fighters are the biggest assets of our country. They all led the fight for our independence. And are we really utilizing that independence to the full extent which they have got us? I'm not very sure. Nowadays, we see a lot of challenges with the way people are using the independence, like kids. I don't know whether they really understand the concept of being independent, because what I see is people are not really understanding what exactly independence means a lot for the people in the olden times and the people right now. Right now, kids say, I want to be independent. I want to do this, I want to do that. But they are not realizing how the old generation who fought bravely with the British people to attain that freedom, even for having food, doing the things which they prefer to do. under the slavery of British rule and all. So I guess our generation should, or our generation should give that knowledge to the younger generation that independence is a very important thing. And you really should understand the, what exactly independence means to all of them from the old generation perspective. Thank you, Indu. Over to you.
Okay, thanks, Deepti. Yes. Any volunteers? Guests also can give a try.
Reena, would you want to try?
I will try. I just hope I'll be able to talk about the topic which the color, the picture that the color would show. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me choose red. Oh,
wow.
My dear Mohanlal. Okay. Mohanlal is one of my favorite actors. I watched his first movie, which is Manjarinya Pokal, and I disliked him at that time. And gradually, I watched a lot of his other movies. There were comedies, then there was Tuvana Tumbigal, Chitram. The fondness grew to a lot of admiration, and I continue to watch all his movies. My older son has taken over the mantle from me, in his adoration for Mohanlal. He has got his wife, who is a non-Malayali, to also watch Mohanlal movies, and she has also become a fan. I believe that Mohanlal movies are blockbusters. Most of them are blockbusters. Some of them have failed in the box office, and I wish Mohanlal continues to act in a lot more movies. I would prefer that he stopped acting in romantic roles and evolved to a different role that kind of that kind of aligns with his age and demeanor. Thank you.
Thank you, Reena. Yes, I'm going to back to the slide.
We would
You
have
can
to
choose.
stop now, Indu.
Okay, time is up.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Indu and speakers for having such a wonderful session. You know what I love about table topics? It's not the participation. It's hearing the different perspectives, and you really achieve that. And with that, we come to the end of the segment. We will be having the evaluation session. I would like to invite the general evaluator, DTM Sreeja, to provide the evaluation. Over to you, DTM Sreeja.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Before I take the report from my army, we would now go ahead with the speech evaluators. But let me call the timer of the day so that he can tell us how much time was taken by the speeches, which could be noted down by the speech evaluators, and they can use that in their evaluation. Aswin, could you quickly tell us the times?
Yep, thank you, Toastmaster Sreeja. Manu took 5 minutes and 30 seconds, which is well within the timeline. And Jayakrishnan took 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which is also within the timeline. Congrats.
Thank you very much. I hope the evaluators have made a note on it. And now let me call upon the first speech evaluator for Toastmaster Manu, which was Toastmaster Arathi. Toastmaster Arathi, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Sreeja. A very A warm good afternoon to everyone, especially the speaker Manu. Manu delivered his second speech, and true to his style, he gave a very lucid explanation about the topic, which is how to say no. And he gave us very good examples about mapping it to his workplace as well as to his family, to his daughter, to Kinder Joy. So many people could connect and get the message instantly. So that's a job well done. You have pinned the point that if you say your message with stories, it reaches out to the audience, and the feedback was instant. What I liked about your speech was your cool attitude, your confident way of delivering the speeches. You had the same pace throughout the speech, showing that you were very calm and not nervous. If you were nervous, it was not showing at all. And the message was very relevant for all of us. You noted down you talked about 2 or 3 points that we could use when we are saying no. So that was also well appreciated. Now, what you could have done better is on the visual angle. I think that if you keep your camera at your eye level, that would do better justice to you, because we are now getting an angled view of yourself. And that also gives you more room to use your hands and maybe even your body gestures much more in a way that helps your speech and your content delivery. So you can look at keeping the camera at eye level, and if at all you're using notes or any other visual cues to remind you of the next line, then it also be at your eye level. I think you were looking down at a paper to remind you of the next topic. So if you can in the virtual mode, you can actually minimize your window and keep it side to side, keep it at an eye level. I would have loved to have a more strong opening where you could have, instead of thanking for the opportunity to do the speech, if you could have either started with the story of, have you ever said no to your manager when your job was in the line? Something very catchy would have been good, or even your daughter's experience about Kinder Joy. Start with a catching introduction, a story that would have made the rest of the speech more interesting, because otherwise you would take some more time to come to speed to the topic. And you could also look at the way you are ending it. Probably you could end with a quote saying why no, saying no is not always that bad. But otherwise, it was a speech well delivered, very confident, and I wish you all the best with your future speeches. Thank you, and back to you, G.
Thank you, Madam President, for that lucid project evaluation. We now go ahead and we will now listen to the second speech evaluator. It was Toastmaster Aravind, who evaluated JK's icebreaker speech today. I invite Toastmaster Aravind to please give the speech evaluation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sreeja. Jay, at the onset, it was a very good presentation, because before, as an evaluator, before I put across some comments, and as you can see in the chat, the other participants have already shared in chat how it felt to them. So as simple as that, it was a good presentation. Few things which you did extremely well was, one, your pace. That it is very consistent. The pace, the pause, and you delivered this speech with good amount of confidence. That is again something which I liked in your presentation. You started your presentation in the first area with a quote as well. That is, as we all know, it's a typical way by which we are able to grab audience attention as well, which you did splendidly well. You used the word of the day in your presentation, lucid, at few occasions. That was also extremely good, where you were able to tailor make your speech according to the word of the day. So that is something which you did extremely well there. The most important thing which I liked in your presentation was your hand movements, because there is this typical behavioral science saying where while you are delivering a presentation, it is mostly like you need to hold a globe and you revolve your hands around that. That is something which you did extremely well, where your hand level was not interrupting the connect with the audience. Beautifully done there. Couple of other areas in which we can improve together, as we are moving ahead and while delivering the next presentations is, I always believe that you should not start presentations with some sort of a negative connotation. There were one line which you said that you are very bad in narrating a story. Let us not do that, because as long as you don't tell that, nobody is going to know that, right? And of course, your story was also not bad at all. It was also very good. And the pleasantness in the first half of the presentation, you are a bit, that pleasant part was not evident, that which came up later in the fag end of the presentation. It can be because of maybe a bit nervous, which we as a presenter, how we were feeling, or maybe that was planned approach from yourself. Maybe to attract the audience attraction a bit more better, as some sort of pleasantness right from the start would also give a tinge more higher notes ambit overall to our presentation. Overall, well done, Jay. I'm so happy to see the presentation which you have delivered. Like everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aravind. That was beautifully articulated. Now, before I go ahead and give my report, let's call upon my team, the tag team. This time I'm going to call the timer first. Again, giving them chance to use the word of the day. Let me call upon the timer of the day, Toastmaster Aswin.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sreeja. So when it comes to TMOD introduction, Prakash, you took like 4 minutes. Then Manu, as I already mentioned, like Manu took 5 minutes and 30 seconds, which was well within the timeline. Jayakrishnan took 5 minutes and 20 seconds, which was also within the timeline. Arathi, for the evaluation, you overshot by 10 seconds. You took 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but that is also within the timeline. Like you have 30 more seconds to wind up the evaluation. Aravind, for your evaluation, you took like 2 minutes and 28 seconds. And for table topic speakers, Deepthi, I think you have set a record. You spoke for 2 minutes and 23 seconds. I don't think so. Like we had any of our table topic speakers who spoke for more than 2 minutes. But you were also like within the timeline. Like you had 2 minutes and 30 seconds to wind up your speech. You concluded it in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Reena took 1 minute and 29. In a nutshell, everyone were within the timeline and it was well arranged session. Thank you so much. Handing over back to Toastmaster Sreeja.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aswin. And if we need to be well within our time, we need to have the other reports very quickly. So let me call upon the R counter of the day, Toastmaster Manisha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sreeja. I'm here with my Lucid report. In terms of R's and all the crutch words, Manu, you had 2 and is, I think that was the most used word for you. You had 4 R's and 4 ums. Jayakrishnan, very well prepared speech. You only had 2 R's and 2 ums. Indu, you had around 6 ums during your introduction. DT, you had 3 R's and 2 ums. Reena, you had 4 R's and 4 ums. That's all from my side, handing it over to Toastmaster Sreeja.
Thank you, Madam VP Education. And now we move on to the Grammarian of the day. I call upon Toastmaster Anila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sreeja. So first of all, let me say, today all the speeches were very lucid, very interesting, very simple. So starting on with my report, first let me move into the some of the improper usages which I felt. That's maybe my thoughts. Okay, so the first one would be I do things. So it just came in between the speech that we would understand. So it was I do things. The other one was again overloaded, could have been overloaded again. I was myself frustrated. I was frustrated. She liked chocolate a lot. It can be she likes chocolate. I was going through. It could have been went through. I am happy what I am right now. I'm happy about what I'm right now. So moving on to the good usages and thoughts and things like that. It's using the simple can be harder than complex. The word was touted. usage of the word that we normally don't use. Then the quote that Aravind has already mentioned, a dream does not become reality through magic. I fell in love with my job. Life started showing smiling face at me. Those some of the good parts there. Tailor-made. And one of the other thought was hold a globe and revolve your hand around. That was another good thought there. And now moving on to the usage of word of the day. It was Sreeja who's a top scorer today, who used 4 times, Aswin 1 time, Manu 1 time, Aravind once, Jayakrishnan once, Arathi once, and Manisha once. Congratulations, all the speakers, and back to you, Toastmaster Sreeja.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian, for that lucid report of yours. Now, quickly going into my report, I'll not take much time. Things that we did very good today. We started a dot on time, which was 12:05. The guest introductions were done. Toastmaster Aswin gave the mission, vision, value, rules, etc. very well. Toastmaster Prakash, what a beautiful introduction. I loved your word choice. I loved the quotes that you gave. It was a very beautiful language, which has already been appreciated. All the role players, they explained everything beautifully and lucidly. I love the way in which all the speeches went, and I'm not going into the explanation of anything because we already have done that. Toastmaster Indu, congratulations for being the table topic master, because I can see that you're taking baby step towards Toastmasters. However, often I have seen that nowadays everyone is going ahead with choose the color and they go to a topic. That need not be the only way in which we can conduct. All right, you can also have any other way of conducting. I've seen that at least 10 times happening in our club, and that's why. Toastmaster Deepthi, again, the way that you questioned the table topic master back was really good. That was a good tactic as well, gives you more time to think. And I've seen your progression from the first speech to now. You are now starting to beautifully create those streams of words and coming ahead with beautiful speech. So congratulations. Thank you very much, guest Reena, for joining us today. You brought back a lot of memories of Mohanlal. Yes, we all need to go back and watch those movies. Things that we can improve. Ideally, the Toastmaster of the day is supposed to do the AV check. There is nothing wrong that the Sergeant at Arms does, but the Toastmaster of the day can take an upper hand because you are the master of the ceremony for that particular day. Despite doing an AV check in the beginning, we actually had a little bit of issues with the AV check with Toastmaster Aravind and Toastmaster JK. I believe the role players should be responsible to make sure that, hey, is my AV check proper? So they can come up ahead and not wait for others to come and get it checked by them. It was Toastmaster Arathi while the table topic session, it was Toastmaster Arathi who said, hey, I think there's not enough time to do this. That is the responsibility of the Toastmaster of the day. You are responsible to run the show from end to end. So you can decide if more topics needs to be given or it needs to be stopped. Similarly, I heard few people saying TMRT. So that's not how we call upon a person. We will say Toastmaster Arti. Though we write TMRT, we will say Toastmaster Arti. All right. Well, apart from that, I don't have any other comments. It was a beautiful session. Very happy that we could hear 2 speeches and 2 speeches which matter as well. Saying no is really difficult. So congratulations, Toastmaster Manu, on your 2nd speech. And JK, first step is the toughest step. So I hope that we will not lose that momentum and we'll keep on going. With that, I hand over the control back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DTM Sreeja, for that detailed evaluation report and all the suggestions are noted. And with that, we come to the end of an wonderful session. Thank you, everyone, once again. For one or the other reason, we tend to complicate things, but it is really easy to complicate things. You don't need to think too much, but to keep things simple, you have to think hard and work really hard. And as Da Vinci quoted, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining this meeting. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Prakash. He has a hard stop. Thank you for staying on, even though you missed your timeline. Thank you so much. That was a very well delivered session. Now, just let me tell you announce the results. We have the best role player was Prakash, the Toastmaster of the day. The best table topic speaker, no doubts, went to Deepthi. The best speaker, I'm very happy to announce that is shared by Manu and Jayakrishnan. So happy for that. And the best evaluator is Toastmaster Arathi. Thank you so much I think it doesn't mean much, but I think these little things gives us a little happiness. I'm so happy that both the speakers grabbed first places. Now it's time to wind up, but before we wind up, let me remind you, is that time of Toastmasters year where we renew our subscription. It's that time it's hard to believe that it's already 6 months since we started our active journey. In fact, almost 9 months. And I request all of you to respond to the treasurers and the membership VP memberships message. The renewal fee would be announced here. This would be $45 for 6 months. It's time we need to renew before the end of September. The details would be shared in chat. And the guest, I invite you to come in our meetings. Please stay tuned. If you want us to add you to a guest WhatsApp group, please ping me or Radhika. Reena, you can do that, and we'll let you know about the next meeting. With that, I'm officially closing this meeting. Thank you for attending meeting number 23, and all role players and attendees. Thank you so much for the wonderful meeting. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.